the flag. Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open the hearing on local law number 1 of 2026 entitled Local Law Amending Village Code, section 119-5B4 regarding exterior lighting, which essentially moves the turning off the lights, whatever the definition is, instead of at 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Who would like to speak? Do we have,
I have several people on Zoom. I don't know if you want to start Zoom first or
sure.
audience.
Oh, is someone here to speak to the lighting?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, those on Zoom, just a minute. We're going to take the audience first and then we'll address all those on Zoom.
Okay.
I didn't talk, not like, but I will say something. I live across the street from you.
Okay, so you're going to state your name, you're going to state your address, and then
Deborah Leffler. I live at 245 Narrow Lane East in Zacatonic. I'm a full-time resident out here. I don't want to have the lights have to be turned off. Just the walk from my driveway to my house is about 85 yards on a narrow path, and I would be personally scared when I'm home alone to do that. And in the summer, I have small grandchildren that stay with me. And I think they would be not happy running around and late at night, which they love to do, and lightning bugs and everything else. I don't feel like our lighting is offensive. It was done by Greg Yale, and it's sensitive to the environment. I do agree that there are some houses I see in Sagaponack that have lighting that's egregious. I think that there's a way that there could be some kind of inspection for people's lighting to not be over bright. The lumens are really high on a few houses. I feel like you go by a few houses and they look like airports or stadium lighting or something. I don't know what people are thinking when they put in that lighting, but I think that if we could figure out a way to make the people have outdoor lighting that is too bright turned down, it would be nice to still have our lights on until like 1 o'clock in the morning. I also have most of my friends in the summer that are Europeans that come to visit. We don't even sit down for dinner until 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. So I'm going to be asking my guests to walk back to their cars in pitch black. And I have like 5 acres and it's very dark without any lighting. So
Yeah, our code does allow motion detectors, and I don't have one, but if people are in the yard, they pretty much stay on. I mean, anybody have a motion detector?
Yeah,
lights?
I have a motion detector lights too. So
It's not
yeah,
the same.
the intent of this, the intent of the proposal is not a issue with people walking back and forth down their driveway. The intent is really to, because with the advent, as you mentioned, of the increase of the new buildings, and it's really kind of incumbent on us to protect other landowners from the intrusive effects of glare and light trespass, to basically preserve the rural character of the community. It's in the code. It's kind of one of the mandates that was done when the village was incorporated. And I think, unfortunately, lately, there seems to be very poor, maybe it's upon us, the inspector. We don't have a police force that's going to go around.
and I don't know how is it going to be even enforced.
Right. Well, we can do it potentially with the building inspector. I suspect would be the only way. We can enforce huge fines on it. I think we're prohibited from that. But we need people to be aware of it, because what we don't want is to have, I mean, we have a lot of people who are putting lights straight up into trees and the sky. And so just making people aware that we have this is a positive to us, but it's not meant to be, you know, you can't have your light on to walk your neighbors out of your house, or kids coming home, or walkways, but it's definitely meant for more of the spotlight scenarios that are going on, and especially in the new buildings. They're like lighthouses going up around in the village. And so I think it's kind of on us to try to figure out a way for us to enforce it. and to remedy some of the situations. It is to me also an environmental hazard, night skies. Right now you can look outside and it's beautiful skies and stars, and you can look and almost see in Riverhead the problem that's going on over there, the night glare. And
We don't have any
and by the
commercial
way,
lighting out there. We don't have stadiums and baseball parks or
we do. But we also have a lot of non-resident people that have lights on
all the time.
And and I have lights going in my house right now. So I'm so thrilled that we're making people aware of this. Whether we come up with the right solution or not, it's certainly not meant to be a completely dark house outside as your kids come home. That's what motion light detectors, you can get them anywhere right now. And they're very effective. And obviously you can turn on the lights to let people in. And obviously if people have parties during the season, there's a carve out for that in the code as well. So it's not going to be, hey, everybody's got to turn their lights out at night. This is just make people aware of what's going on around the village here. And it is becoming a problem. And I think there is a good medium solution here to come about.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be enforced either. I mean, would it be drones enforcing it, or would it be?
It might be complaints by people and then following up with the building inspector type of thing, right?
Well, that's what it has in the past, right? It's basically what happens is someone can complain about a specific spotlight coming on or up in the trees. They can complain about it, and then it has to be the building inspector.
Are your lights low lumen, like in the pathway, aiming down type thing?
Yeah, our lighting was done by Greg Yale. I mean, it's like so sensitive and so like aware of surroundings, and it's delicate.
It's not our intent to stop that.
Okay, so I have a feeling that nobody's going to be like,
but as
knocking my
written,
door.
she can't have those lights on.
Yeah.
Well,
After 11.
After
I
11
don't think
o'clock,
anything
even if
would
it's
know.
low lumen and even as it's on the ground,
Oh, fair enough.
down,
Fair
at
enough.
11 o'clock, she's got to turn her lights off.
Well, I gotta tell you, if you drive around the village at night after 11 o'clock or after 1 o'clock, there's lights on all over the place. So, so it's an issue we need to address. Is really the point.
I agree, but specifically as far as
I
the
think
lights
it's nice that we're all being heard.
and the Europeans, I know that in the past week I've had a number of people describing, the safety issue one, which you have 85 yards of walking down. The second thing is the fact that at 11 o'clock in the summer, it's 9.
It's only dark. It's only been dark for 2.5 hours at that point.
And people who are used to eating at 11 o'clock at night,
Definitely.
Spanish people, the
My
people from
Spanish and
Spain,
Italian friends won't even
Right.
come before 9 o'clock. So
you can't even turn the lights on unless you wave the.
Yeah, that's not the intent of
Agreed.
the discussion here.
thank you. All right.
That being said, we all do have cell phones with flashlights.
Oh, geez.
Not my grandchildren.
Just saying.
They're 8 years old. They don't.
They don't have cell phones.
They better not. At 8. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Bill, you have several people on the.
Sure, next, whoever.
On the Zoom, Doug Kriegman, would you like to speak to this local law?
Yeah, I would just say that if
Doug, can you please state your
sorry,
address?
Doug Krugman at 760 Sag Main Street.
Thank you.
And just to the point of saying that the intent is to make people more aware, I think the issue that we're discussing is whether it should be 11 p.m. or 1 a.m. So I don't think that's, we need to move it to 11 p.m. to make people more aware. You need to just make people more aware. And that it just doesn't seem practical to have it at 11 p.m. I mean, a lot's going on at 11 p.m. People use their lights. And then just to the issue of enforcement of it, putting some law on the books that you don't want to enforce is really never a great idea. It really opens up to selective enforcement, whatever that means to people. But, that's not generally a good thing.
Okay, thank you.
Ann Keating, And both of your video and your microphone are off. So if you want to speak, you'd have to put them on.
I'm just speaking, I'll speak and agree with Debbie. I just feel it's a safety issue. And if you've got people arriving or leaving and there's no lights, a staircase, or her case, a path, it is really impossible to get around. And 11 o'clock is far too early for that. It's just not safe. I think it's safety is more than anything.
And could you state where your address is, please?
175 Toppings Path, Sagaponic.
You're not in the village.
So this law would not affect your property.
Well, whether it's affecting me, I go to a lot of people's houses that the law does affect. It's not that far away. So I asked to be a part of it just so I didn't realize they wanted me to speak, just so I could state the fact that I felt it was something that was unfair to the people living there and the people that visit the people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Jenna Pillsbury.
Hi, good afternoon. My name's Jenna, and I'm representing Mr. Mark Leader at 828 Sag Main Street. I'd like to respectfully express his opposition of the proposed 11 p.m. outdoor lighting restriction. While Mr. Leader understands and appreciates the goal of reducing unnecessary light and preserving the character of the community, he believes it is too restrictive and does not adequately account for important concerns. This proposal may have a negative impact on how residents use their properties. Many homeowners occasionally host guests, return home late, and simply need lighting for visibility and safety after 11 p.m. Mr. Leader would like to encourage the board to consider more balanced alternatives and reconsider or revise this proposal to better balance community character with safety and practical needs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim Saperstein. Kim, did you want to speak? Both your microphone and video are off.
Hi. Thank you so much. I would agree with all of the other
Can you
speakers.
say your street address, please?
Sure, 741 and 709 Daniels Lane.
Thank you.
Hi. I would agree with the other speakers as far as the safety of this goes. I think that while we all build our houses and respect the laws and abide by the landscaping lights and the regulations, I have a new build right now. So all of the lights are the low lights, but to have a regulation when it comes to entering and leaving the house with my children and myself at 11 o'clock, if that's not the intention of the law, then I think it should be labeled differently. But the way that it reads now is that at 11 o'clock at night, there can be no lights at all. So the way that I'm reading it is that if I come into my home at 11 or if I leave, there are to be no lights whatsoever. So that's how I'm reading it, which means that that's what I would intend to do. So if that's not the intention of what you're passing, then it needs to read differently. Otherwise, it seems like you're going to have a lot of mixed messages going on. That would be my concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lee Shulman. Lee, did you want to speak to this local law? Both your video and microphone are off. We take that as a no. Marcia?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon. And thank you for giving all of us the opportunity to speak. We really appreciate your taking all of this into consideration. I wrote something because I'm always very nervous speaking.
Marcia, could you state your last name and your address?
Yes, it's Marcia Rolf Michon, and I'm at 740 Sag Main Street. I wanted to begin by saying that I think everyone in the village respects the goal of protecting Sagaponic's night sky. I think it's one of the reasons we treasure being out here, and I believe we all share that value. However, I am concerned about the requirement that all exterior lighting be turned off at a fixed hour, whether 1 a.m. or potentially earlier. From what I've learned, the leading organization in the space, the International Dark Sky Association, does not advocate for total darkness, but rather responsible lighting design. Scientific research is clear that the primary contributors to sky glow are not modest residential lights, but rather high-intensity sources such as commercial lighting, sports fields, parking lots, and poorly designed LED infrastructure lighting. In a village like Sagaponic, where a lot of the homes sit on fairly large properties, a few warm shield exterior lighters contribute to very little sky glow. And at the same time, they provide a real sense of security. My property is close to 7 acres, and when you walk in from the walking gate to get to my house in complete darkness, it would be a hazard. We have changes from grass to gravel pathways. We also have a pool, we have a terrace, and during the summer, we use those outdoor spaces a lot. And if we had to turn our lights off at 11, we wouldn't be able to use our property, enjoy the summer as we do now and have for over 30 years. Modest lighting would allow us to do so safely, not just path lights that go on with motion, but what if you're sitting out there with your family and friends? Motion lights are not going to be on, they're going to be off. So if you're having a dinner or you're sitting outside late, you need to have some proper lighting or respectful lighting to night sky. That's another thing. I'm actually often home alone in the winter and throughout the year. And I do put on a small amount of exterior lighting that doesn't glow out. And that actually makes me feel very safe and calms my anxiety. If I could have no exterior light on when I'm home alone at night, I wouldn't feel so safe. So I'm hoping that there's an acceptable design that shields a spread of light that limits sky glow that would be acceptable. Sagaponic, I think, already enjoys a relatively dark sky, and I think we can still see the stars. I see the stars. I was out there recently looking at the sky, and we have no major source of sky glow. My hope is that the village will consider a balanced approach, one that follows established dark sky principles, rather than requiring homes to go completely dark at a fixed hour. Protecting the night sky and allowing residents to safely navigate and enjoy their property should not be mutually exclusive goals. This, I trust the board will carefully weigh the environmental considerations and the safety and well-being and the use of residents. Thank you so much for having us all speak today. Really appreciate it, Marcia.
Thank you.
Elizabeth?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Vergara, sorry if I'm massacring names here.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mateus. I'm representing Mr. Mark Leader at 828 Sag Main Street. I would like to respectfully express his opposition to the proposed 11 p.m. outdoor lighting restriction. While Mr. Leader understands and appreciates the goal of reducing unnecessary light and preserving the character of the community, he believes it's too restrictive and does not adequately account for important concerns. This proposal may have a negative impact on how residents use their properties. Many homeowners only use their property 12 to 15 weeks out of the entire year, and occasionally host guests, return home late, or simply need lighting for visibility and safety after 11 p.m. A blanket restriction does not reflect the realities of everyday life. Mr. Leader would like to encourage the board to consider more balanced alternatives and reconsider or revise this proposal to better balance community character with safety and practical needs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Matthias.
Thank you.
Camilla Brillenberg. Would you wish to?
Sorry, I just. Oh, sorry.
You have two, you're signed on twice.
Oh, am I? Oh,
No.
I'm going to take off the one that the microphone is not on and see if that helps. Okay, try it now.
okay, is that better?
That's better.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't repeat what everyone else said. My other thing is I totally understand having it dark. I love seeing the fireflies and respect everything else. But we've got a very elderly dog, and we keep the sort of pool lights on in the evening when he goes out. And I think, you know, he would fall in and probably drown. And I just think, you know, we enjoy our garden. We live here all year round. And like Marcia, my husband's away some of the time, and I'm here alone. So I think for safety and everything else, you feel secure. It's very dark most of the time. Just having a few lights on outside makes me feel safe if I'm here alone. So I just echo what everyone else says. I think being reasonable, just even to midnight, or even, you know, 12:30 would be more reasonable rather than 11. So
Camilla, could you give me your address, please?
434 Hedges Lane.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Charles?
Yes. Hello, Board of Trustees. I echo
Charles, could you give us your last name and your street address, please?
the Gunsberg, 555 Sagaponic Road. I'd like to echo Marcia's very eloquent comments, as well as Camilla's and the gentleman who spoke before her. I think it's important to note that the issue of lighting and dark skies from the standpoint of visibility of the sky, the issue of the wildlife, we're not talking about homes having outrageous amount of lights here. We're talking about very modest light. I do a lot of night photography. I do a lot of star watching with advanced telescopes. And this is one of the best parts of the world that I've ever been in to observe stars. There is no lighting pollution here whatsoever. But I would like to press upon the board that for a variety of reasons, I have dealt with security issues and security people all my life. And the number one thing that they tell you, without a doubt, is lighting is important from a security standpoint, particularly with respect to break-ins and other things. And I do think that an ordinance to have all outdoor lights off at 11 affects our safety dramatically. I don't know if that's even legal, to be honest. We are citizens who have a right to protect ourselves. We have a right to our peace of mind. My wife, too, stays in Sagaponic alone often, and to be in the complete dark, it makes absolutely no sense. So I'm fervently against this. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Henry Weisberg?
Yeah. Hi, sorry. Yeah, I just I have no problem with interior lights and a lot.
Henry, can you just state your
Yes, Henry Weisberg, 521 Sag Main Street. And of course, I have no problem with interior lights, which respond to a lot of the comments that people have made about why they need lights. I do think that at some appropriate moment late at night, whether it's 10, 11, 12, I don't really care. I think that exterior lights should be extinguished. There is, while Sagaponic is certainly a dark place. There is a lot of there's quite a bit of ambient light depending on the street you're on and who your neighbors are. So I do think that there is a reason to try and diminish that. So I support these restrictions. Thank you.
Michael Torkin.
Hi, good afternoon, Board of Trustees. Thank you for holding the hearing. I have to disagree with.
Michael, can you state your street address, please?
Yeah, 36 Herb Court.
Thank you.
I would respectfully disagree with the proposal. I do think it becomes a little arbitrary and capricious on a couple of levels. First of all, you know, what's to say an outdoor light versus an indoor light, especially when it can be seen from the outdoors. A lot of people have security lights that go on and off with movement. I am a big proponent of security, especially around pool areas with kids, both the teenager kids and the younger kids. I can understand, you know, call it 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. There could be limited lights around the house for safety, but to turn them off at 11 o'clock seems a little arbitrary from my perspective, and I would respectfully submit that we should have further discussions with the community on it, and at a minimum, post limited lighting after 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, with certainly an exception for any kind of light that is motion sensitive.
Thank you, Michael.
Megan Ouderkirk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Megan Ouderkirk. My husband, Jerry, and I both reside at 57 Farm Court. He was unable to attend today and asked me to speak on his behalf and ours. Jerry appeared before the board on January 21st to make suggestions relating to the village's outdoor lighting code. We are thankful that you have brought this local law of 2026 to the public hearing. I'm also very curious to hear everybody's perspective. But we are here to voice the support, unequivocal support of this law. Moving it from 12:59 a.m. to 11 p.m. is the right decision, and we urge you to adopt it. The gap between 11 and 1 represents nearly 2 hours of unnecessary exterior illumination. The law's own statement of purpose says it well. Limiting late night brightness advances the village's goal of reducing light pollution and maintaining a dark sky environment consistent with its traditional rural aesthetic. Sagaponic is one of the last places on the East End where you can still stand outside at night and see the stars. Our personal experience has been that we can't look at the stars from our house any longer. We have people nearby that are not there a lot of the time. They have their second floor patio lights on. They have pool lights on all year round, every day. This curfew change is a good start, but it addresses only when the lights must go off. The current law doesn't address the lights that illuminate empty properties all night on timers with no one home to benefit. It doesn't address the output limits that were set for incandescent bulbs and haven't kept pace with the LED technology. It doesn't address enforcement the village would need to make. So we have also submitted a detailed written statement to the board that addresses each of these issues specifically with proposed language for each. And we're simply asking that the board consider that this work, even with a curfew change, isn't finished, and the momentum produced with this help could carry forward into a broader review of Chapter 119. Thank you so much for considering, and we're grateful for you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Tracy Elstein.
Yeah, sorry. It took me a while to get in. I want to
Tracy, could you
support
give us your street address, please?
750 Sag Main Street, Secoponic, New York, 11962. I basically would like to support the gentleman who spoke prior to the lady in favor. I do think having lights for security is incredibly important. I do think that we have young children, in our neighborhood, and we want them to be safe. I also think people having parties, we want them to be safe. I do appreciate the idea that people want to see the dark sky. It is something that we obviously can enjoy, but I do think safety and security have to come first. So
Thank you,
I'm
Tracy.
I'm not in favor.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry for joining late.
It's okay. Is there anyone else on the Zoom that would like to speak to local law number 1 that I have not called?
Rhodey, I would like to. I'm sorry I joined late. It's Elizabeth at 118 Fairfield Pond Lane.
Okay.
Elizabeth Appelli's and Dinah Nissen. And I agree with Henry and Megan that there has to be some balance with regards to the lights that are on now. I think the notion of security, while I hear it, I think there's a way to go about it that's different than having bright lights on all night long. And so I appreciate that we're having this discussion, and I'm sure we're going to come to a great conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Is there anyone else on Zoom that would like to speak that I have not called?
Okay. We'll leave this open for written comment. Okay. We'll close the hearing in general, leave it open for the next, how long, 2 weeks?
So you want to close the public hearing, leave it open for a 10-day written comment
There
period?
we go. Yep, thank you.
The other things that Jerry mentioned in his letter,
Right.
is that something we should be taking into consideration as well and just revamp the whole thing?
Yeah, why not? We can look at it. But let's, I'll make a motion to close the hearing and leave it open for 10 days of written comment. Let's clean that up first. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Yeah, I mean, let's do one piece at a time.
Maybe we should change it to midnight.
Yeah. But that's part of the letters to this.
Are we open for board comments? Or?
Sure.
Yes, you can talk about it.
I agree with the majority of the people here that spoke. I think 11 o'clock is a little too early to cut everything down. If you have college kids or even high school kids, they don't go out till 10 or 11 o'clock.
It's true.
So, I mean, you're going to send them out at dark and expect them to be able to feel their way or find the house back. One thing I do agree with is we have to publicize what we do have.
Right. Should
we decide to keep with the restrictions we have. I don't think there's a lot of people that are aware that long. Maybe we could publicize it through the newsletter or something.
Good idea.
With
the website.
Let people be aware of it, that we are concerned. I really don't. I think 1 o'clock is more than fair. I hate to think that this village is becoming so exclusive that we have to close everything down at 11 o'clock at night. And as far as coming home at night, I've been involved with basketball in the last month. Quite often, 2 days a week, I come home and it's 11 o'clock already.
Right.
And so just for my own being able to find your house, you need the front porch light on. So, I'm inclined to just leave the law the way it is, but publicize it better so that everyone knows about it.
So I'd like to say, so I'm glad we brought this to the forefront because I don't think anybody really knows what the code was here before. I'm certainly in favor of a balanced approach here. I think we could be more definitive in the code. I don't like having a code that we can't enforce. And right now, this is kind of an unenforceable because it's generic, just shut everything down. Whether it's 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock, to me, I'm agnostic on it. But I think we can define it better because, safety is a primary issue. But also, there's tremendous amount of new light pollution that's going on from a lot of our new buildings that are going on, and we're not enforcing it. And I'm not sure we should discuss how we enforce this to begin with. And then secondly, bringing it to the awareness of everyone else. I like the fact that we're keeping this open for 10 days of written comments. And I think there is a good balance here. But I think just shutting things off is probably, very draconian, and to me, it's unenforceable because we're not even enforcing the 1 o'clock now, to be honest. So maybe we can think about from the board perspective, the trustee perspective, to redefine so we can satisfy, both the safety issue and obviously the light pollution issue, which has definitely increased since I've been here in 30 years.
Yeah.
Better light design.
I think, pardon the pun, there's not a lot of bright line rules in dark sky laws. And I think everybody understands what the goal of the law is. The goal of the law, that was originally stated in 2011. There was a sweep across the East End to encourage dark sky law compliance. Not have these big trees illuminated, not have these big floodlights and spotlights and make everybody's house look like it was Sing Sing prison or some big spotlight, right? And to balance that were the concerns of having people's porches illuminated and steps and coming home and being careful and security and all of the security concerns and safety concerns that we heard expressed today, right? There's that balance between the two of them. Don't make your house look like a penitentiary, but also try to keep it, there is a certain homey atmosphere to keep a porch light on. I think the intention as originally drafted in 2011 at the 1 o'clock in the morning cutoff was just to be able to provide some clear time frame to say, hey, look, at 1 o'clock, shut it off. Don't have those second story illuminations just on all night. At 1 o'clock, shut it off, or move it to a motion detector, which is permissible 24 hours a day, the motion detector. There also is a provision where dusk to dawn lighting is prohibited. You can't have a sensor that goes on at night and stays on until the morning. So I think the law intention is good. There is a way to enforce it. The building inspector can do it. We can work with the town of Southampton through the IMA to have their code enforcement come in and assist us to do it too. But again, I think the intention of the village is not to be punitive, but to get compliance. And I think the first step would be educational, as Trustee Barber put out, perhaps. This is a good debate to have, and to go along the lines of advertising through, wrote even through an email, the newsletter, or the website to say, hey, look, this is the provisions for dark sky. Be a considerate neighbor.
Can I just say two things? I think we have an enforcement issue at this particular point. I think the public in general looks at safety. So, and to Megan, to the Outer Kirk family, you've had a change in technology, and since 2011, where LED lights could be 40 or whatever the lumens are, but it's brighter than a 500 lumens. It could be brighter than a 500. So I think the combination of all of these things makes this not just an 11 o'clock cutoff as the right thing. I think, as Henry said, 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that it could be no time at all if there is enforcement of what the current code, and if we actually have looked at what technology has done to create the lights so that she doesn't have to live all year long with the second floor with these things on. So to me, it's not necessarily just 11 o'clock. It could be 2 o'clock. I don't know what that is. I just think that you have to look at the dark sky law, one, but I think number two, as far as making yourself a considerate neighbor, has to be and that goes back to enforcement itself, and whether it's our person, whether it's an outside person, I don't know what that is, but I think it's making sure that we all understand, but at the end of the day, enforcing it to that a dark sky law is enforced up to 2026, which 2011 was a while ago.
Your point's well taken, Mark. I mean, if you look at even the provision where it says fixtures shall not exceed 40 watts.
Yeah.
I think LED lights
that.
are what, 3 watts?
So
Right.
we have an archaic code right now. We need to update it and make it an
More of a
balanced
holistic
approach.
change.
Yeah, not just draconian, this is it anymore. We need to update it and change it. I am thrilled that we're bringing this to the attention though of the village residents, because it's definitely something we need to address.
So how does the board want to proceed? We're going to close this for comment.
And keep written, right? And keep written.
I'd like to hear any more comments that anyone has.
Right, okay.
Keep it open for comments, and then maybe obviously we should rewrite this.
So maybe if I make a suggestion that we close the public comment today, keep it open for written comment for 10 days. Let's take a holistic approach to what the local law is. I know that Order Kirks gave very detailed written comments. The written comments may even bring some more comments. We took some good comments today. Trustee McMillan made some comments about some other holistic approaches. Trustee Lenz, let's look at those, and then maybe we'll even reschedule a draft local law in the coming public meetings. Right,
I think it's a good idea.
I think we'll come up with a great compromise.
Good.
12 o'clock and 30
watts.
60 watts, right?
So you already had the motion and the second and the resolution to close it and leave it open for 10 days, so.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Did that.
Thank you, folks, for weighing in on it.
Thank you.
Very helpful. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your time.
So we're to the subdivision of 451 Daniels Lane. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Brian Doyle. I'm an attorney with the law firm Greenberg Trard in Bridgehampton. I appear before you today as a referee for the Trustees matter appointed by Judge George Nolan of the New York State Supreme Court in the matter styled Milton R. Berlinski and MB Sagaponic Holdings versus Mark Goldman, Sagaponic Realty LLC, Sagaponic Ventures LLC versus MA Sagaponic Holdings LLC and Michael Furtenstein as nominal defendants. Some of the members of this board are probably, luckily for you, not familiar with the history of this long storied property and subdivision process. I and Mr. Egan thought some brief factual background may assist you in knowing why I'm here. Mark Goldman bought this property, which is 43 acres on Daniels Lane, in or about 2000 for the incorporation of this village. He bought it through an entity called Sagaponic Ventures. In 2005, Mr. Goldman entered into an agreement with Mr. Berlinski and Mr. Furtenstein to create a new entity called Sagaponic Realty. Sagaponic Realty owns the property today. On March 21st, the property was transferred to Sagaponic Realty. Mr. Berlinski and Mr. Furtenstein contributed some capital to Sagaponic Realty. Mr. Goldman was designated as Sagaponic Realty's managing member, and he began attempting to subdivide this property. Since 2005, the parties have appeared before this board and the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they have litigated disputes in the state courts and federal courts about this problem. The litigation has continued effectively unabated. In 2019 and 2020, I appeared before this board when Mayor Lockheim was here as an attorney for Mr. Berlinski, attempting to subdivide the property. Later in 2020, with Mr. Goldman's consent, I appeared for Mr. Berlinski and Mr. Goldman, and we presented a map to this board that was effectively approved. We appeared before the zoning board, and the zoning application was approved. Of course, prior to Mayor Lockheim signing the final plat, the parties fought again, and there was more litigation. That litigation resulted ultimately in a stipulation of settlement, where the parties again agreed to subdivide this property. Later, at a date that I'm unfamiliar with, the parties litigated that stipulation of settlement, alleging that there was a breach by one party as against the others. In March of this year, in March of 2025, on the verge of trial, Judge Nolan settled this case in Riverhead and appointed me as the referee to appear before you as his representative to subdivide this parcel. So I'm here first to tell you, and I want you to understand, I don't represent the parties here. I'm here and I'm working for Judge Nolan as a representative of the court. The stipulation that the parties entered is before you as Exhibit D, and it was entered by the parties before Judge Nolan and required that I and our engineers, the Rain Group, Joe Lombardi is here from the Rain Group, produce a map for you. And the map that we were required to produce for you was a 2016 subdivision map. And it required one of the lots on the 2016 subdivision map to increase in size from 2 acres to 3. That was the only thing I was allowed to do under that stipulation without going back to the parties and getting their consent to do anything else. And Mr. Lombardi and I attempted to do that. We engaged in the additional formulas in the stipulation. We tried to use the 2016 map, and what I think the lawyers in the courthouse did not realize is that this property has significant topographical challenges, and it also has drainage challenges, and the parcel is now burdened by the International Fire Code, which requires the driveway to be wider than it needed to be in 2016. So what happened was Mr. Lombardi and I had difficulty hitting the 65% open space requirement, which was required by Section 245. So to depart from the stipulation, I spoke to Mr. Berlinski and Mr. Goldman, and with their consent, they have given me written consent to produce this map to you. This map pretty closely tracks the 2020 subdivision map. The layout is a little bit different because we were asked to go back to the 2016 map. But this map before you, dated January 12, 2026, achieves the 65% open space requirement. It satisfies the International Fire Code. We have to, I think, and I haven't seen your technical memo here before the ZBA, because we're going to need to reduce the road frontage from the required 40 feet to 30 feet. But in 2019, the ZBA did grant us identical when we went on that map. And understand also that we've placed, the village has asked us to place conservation easements on each of the 4 maps. The size of those conservation easements is commensurate with a view shed easement that we've placed on Daniels Lane. Again, the history of this parcel is that if you drive by this parcel, there are very tall conifer trees or fir trees, which are blocking the view shed across this parcel. And there is some legal debate over whether or not those trees can be there. Whether those trees violate the Ag and Markets Law or whether or not they violate the IRS code. And I don't seek to have that debate with you. I know the village over the years wants those trees out of there, and Mr. Egan and I have spoken, and this does that. One of the things I would raise for the village and why I think there's a significant municipal benefit to this is if you look at the stipulation that was entered in court, the stipulation only requires that Sagaponic Ventures, which is Mr. Goldman, transplant the trees in that area. I don't know what transplant means, but it certainly may not mean remove. And that's been the problem with this application for a long time. The municipality and the Peconic Land Trust are also not a part of that litigation. So from my view, and I'm not your lawyer, this municipality and the Peconic Land Trust would have no standing to appear in that action if somebody, a subsequent purchaser, after these lots presumably are subdivided, comes back in and replants trees along Daniels Lane. So what this view shed easement does is it forever puts to rest whether or not trees can be planted there. Those kind of conifer trees, Mr. Egan and I will draft a view shed easement, which will at a minimum give the Peconic Land Trust standing. And if it's on the subdivision map, I think the village would have standing to enforce it. So it puts to bed an issue that has been a thorny one for the municipality for a long time. I'm open to any questions you have on the application. Mr. Lombardi is here as well to answer any questions you have. As I said, I haven't seen your technical memo from your consultant, so I don't know if they're raising any issues that I could address.
Yeah, look, I obviously wasn't a part of this agreement that was done back in 2000, and I guess the village wasn't even incorporated before that. But clearly, I have a copy of what was originally approved, which is now dated and not viable now. I have the new one, and there's some pretty dramatic changes here that I can tell. And again, I don't know. First, the required conservation easements seem to be shrunk, but maybe in totality it's the same. And secondly, lot 4 seems to come. Again, I don't know what scale is here, but lot 4 is significantly jutting out into the reserve where it was not previously. So,
and you're comparing to the 2020 map?
I'm comparing what we just got versus what was approved.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Okay, so that right there to me is a red flag. I don't want to see anything jutting out into the Peconic Trust thing. So just telling you right now, that's my issue right now.
Yeah, the Peconic Land Trust easement area is only required to be 25 acres. The easement area that we provide for here is greater than 25 acres.
I see that, it's 26.3.
Yeah, and this is going back.
But you can see that it's not consistent though with what open space should be. It has lot 4 is dramatically out into the middle of into the center here, and then the easements required conservation easements that were previously agreed to have shrunk dramatically in size, but not in totality. I get that.
Yeah, so the conservation easements are equivalent in size to the view shed easement. So again, the view shed easement is not something that is currently part of the Peconic Land Trust easement. We're going to have to go to the land trust and gain their consent to do that. I would suggest Mr. Egan speak to you about the benefit of having that view shed easement. Again, the conservation easement, at least as it's located on lot 1, that is a swale area that I'm sure the mayor is familiar with. Really, that's an area that absolutely nothing can be placed in. That's effectively a wetland based on the way it is property drains. Lot 4 is located in the area it's located in. If we move that lot 4 farther to the west, if you considered it to move it there, we would be in a VE zone. So that's why lot 4 is located where it is, so that it can be on property where a home can be constructed. We don't want to be in a velocity zone.
So have these lots, not that it's any of our purview, but have these lots been divided among beneficiaries already? Who's getting what lot?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Berlinski has always been the owner or the contemplated owner of lot 3. Mr. Bernstein has always been the contemplated owner of lot 2. And Mr. Goldman is the contemplated owner of lots 1 and 4. Where I should say those people and their entities.
And you said that Hertenstein has not agreed to this?
Hertenstein defaulted in the litigation. He did not appear. So the court is not under an obligation to consider his view. He was noticed, but the lawsuit never appeared.
And any rational reason why he didn't appear?
I can't speak to a rational reason as to why somebody wouldn't appear in a court proceeding. The history of this is.
I'll give you my speculation after.
Did you say lot one they can't build on?
No, lot one they can build on. The area shown as the conservation easement in gray. Yes, that's a wetland area.
Okay.
Just my initial feedback, I love the idea of getting rid of all the, in perpetuity, obviously the trees and the land trust. And I think we need to protect ourselves from that. Because these are clearly, could be spec homes and rebuilt and resold. And I don't know what transplanting means. I mean, we have to clear that up. And if we have to work with the County Land Trust on it, we should.
Right. They've been a good partner to us, so we can definitely work with them.
Mr. Egan, do you have a view or anything that we should be?
So
Ryan, do you want?
Yeah. So what I might recommend is we hear from Matt Jedlicka. I'm going to have some comments after he's done. I'm sure that Mr. Doyle is going to have some response. And then we'll open again back up to the trustees.
Before you get his comments, yes, what is our role here and what are we supposed to be?
So this is a pre-application. What the goal here would be, and again, Mr. Doyle's role is, I'm glad he said it, that he's not representing a party here, even though with the preface that earlier he had, but here he is as a special master for the court. This is the court's request to try to get this done. The court can't order us as an independent board to do this. We retain our jurisdiction and authority as the independent village, the sovereign village of the Sacaponic to approve this subdivision. So this is the proposed subdivision that's made now with all of the parties cooperatively acting through Mr. Doyle and really acting through the court to get this done. What we have to make sure is that we're satisfied that this subdivision checks all the boxes and is legally sufficient under our village code. So the process is that if Mr. Jedlicka believes that this is complete, this will finish the pre-application procedure. Then my recommendation would be Mr. Doyle would be permitted to go refer to the zoning board for any variances he may need, and then back to us for the final public hearing on the subdivision layout. And at that time, we'd get a second chance to finalize whatever else might be open at that time too. But at this time, I might throw it to Mr. Jedlicka.
Where does the Draconic Land Trust, do they have representation in the process also?
Only to the extent of what authority they'd have on agricultural reserve, and that would really be what authority we would give them on that.
Okay.
We could give the Conic Land Trust what our definition of an agricultural reserve.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, we've had the habit recently, started under Mayor Lockhart, that we've had dual jurisdiction on that.
Okay.
Okay, we'll turn it over to the engineering firm.
So good afternoon, trustees. Matt Jedlicka from LK McLean Associates. I'm one of the principals at the firm. So just, touching on the issue of the Conic Land Trust, somebody from our firm prepared written comments about this, and you guys all have the written comments, but, basically the Conic Land Trust easement would apparently need to be revised. So there's probably some sort of approval from the Peconic Land Trust prior to anybody issuing a final approval on this. But as far as the pre-application and the general completeness of it, we did find that the application is generally complete. There are some comments as far as modifications that we would require. There's a requirement that all existing structures, wooded areas, wetlands, lakes, trails, ponds, streams, significant physical features be shown in the subdivision within 200 feet of its boundaries. We found that was generally incomplete because there's really no vegetation along Daniels Lane that's shown. I know we are talking about the Christmas tree farm and the Christmas trees up there. So something like that. There's utilities available and some notes about the utilities coming in, but are all the utilities coming in the 30-foot shared driveway, everybody's water line, everybody's electric line? Some of that stuff's not depicted on the plan. Doesn't depict any sort of method of like drainage or any sort of, sanitary systems or anything like that. Even a proposed plot sketch of something like that. We know that that's going to be required. There are some area modifications that apparently need to be changed. The code requires certain things that are not part of the area calculations, like some of the flagpole portions on the lots, conservation easements, assuming that they prohibit any sort of building areas on there. Common driveway easements, any land seaward of the dune crest, any horizontal area land having a slope in excess of 20%. So I think, some of that is going to change some of the buildable areas or floor area coverages, and some of the calculations will change based on those. There are some discrepancies that need to be corrected in the area calculations, like the project, the general site is 43.507 acres, but if you sum all the lot areas and ag reserve areas, it comes up to 43.521 acres. So that has to be looked at just to make sure that we're consistent with, the lot areas versus the general overall property area. Like I said before, we'd want to depict the routing of all utilities. You probably want updated utility adequacy letters. Are the public utilities enough to service the, I'm assuming it's going to be 4 homes down here. Discuss the Peconic Land Trust stuff. So there was discussion about the ZBA and the 40 feet of frontage versus 30. Let's see, open space requirement. We met the 65%. So in general, we found that the pre-application is complete and could move on to the next stage. But, with the request that some of the stuff, all the stuff that's in the written comments be addressed.
Okay, thank you. You've got all that? I mean, you've got printed copies of it, and those are the small details.
I have the technical memo, and I've worked with Rainer on addressing those comments.
Other questions?
What was wrong with the old map?
Which would be shown.
This is the one that was approved by the board in March of 2020.
That map was approved in 2020 by the board, but the stipulation came back to telling us to approve a map from 2016. I don't know why the parties agreed to that in court. I wasn't there.
Is this the 2016?
That is a closer approximation to the 2016 map, because lot 4 in 2016 was not located simply above lot 1, as you see it here.
Yeah, I like this one better.
Yeah, in 2016, lot 4 was located north of the 3 lots.
I agree with you.
Other questions?
The greenhouse that's there, the fallen apart, terrible eyesore. Is that at all involved in?
I don't know who the greenhouse belongs to, Trustee Barber. Certainly.
I believe it was Mr. Goldman.
I think it's Goldman.
I think the board has the right to impose conditions of approval on us at the time that a subdivision approval is granted, and certainly Mr. Egan can address that with you, what's reasonable and what's not. But if there are structures there that don't have permits and shouldn't be there or violate the code, Mr. Woodsman and Mr. Egan can talk to you about that.
So there were two items as reviewing this with the mayor and the board earlier on the map that was of concern. One was that greenhouse, which certainly is an issue, and we would prefer it to be even removed before the public hearing. Because it is now at this point in its derelict condition, essentially an abandoned building. and an attractive nuisance and dangerous under chapter 164. We don't know if it has any power to it, utilities. That could be a dangerous circumstance. So we'd want that at least removed because that certainly looks and is an attractive nuisance.
Is anything in it?
I have absolutely no.
No, it's not. I looked at it the other day. It's all deteriorated. Yeah, the signs are all broken in.
So we suspect in your role as the special master, you would not know, but if you can make inquiry with the parties.
Yes, I'll
That
do
would
that
be
too.
that would be a good thing.
That was a point of emphasis that the board raised.
Great. Second, and thank you. The other thing is to just looking at the survey, center line of evergreen trees is marked as being outside the property on the village right of way. And that's not acceptable.
I understand that, Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we don't do anything until all that's been rectified.
Yep. Well, that's a stipulation to not getting anything useful from us. Yeah. But if I'd known that before, I mean, we weren't about to go and survey every property in the village, but we've been working on every property when it comes up, when we get a survey and we see that the people have encroached on the village property, we get them to remove it.
I understand.
Yeah.
I'll raise that as well.
Okay. That's great. We appreciate that, Mr. Doyle. I would suggest then respectfully to the board at this point, and based on Mr. Jedlicka's comments and the written comments, that the applicant will update its map and comply with. Again, on this phase, at least, that the board entertain two resolutions. One, that a motion to deem this application complete, and then schedule a public hearing for, you probably want to go to the ZBA probably first, I'd say, for, yeah, perhaps the June.
June.
Yeah.
Well, June, this would be heard back here again in June.
Yeah, to be heard for June here. To then schedule the public hearing.
Right, so from here.
So let's do the first motion to refer this to the zoning board for any variance relief that you feel is necessary.
Hang on. So when can, I'd rather have them have the property in compliance with the village before we proceed with anything.
Well, he would come back in. Yeah, he was complete, and then by the time he come back, it has to be updated.
By the time it's approved. I'd rather do it before it goes to the ZBA then.
I know what you mean and what you're getting at, but this thing will never get built on until they comply with those removals. We can't get the subdivision done anyway.
I can make a representation to you that if one of the parties does not remove the trees, another of the parties is committed to removing the trees, and they'll be removed.
Do we have any say in which map we like better?
That's quite a question. Yeah, probably no. I would say this was the stipulated map that was set in court on the parameters. So this probably this is the map that's applied for.
The old map.
The 2016 is.
Right, so this, which is the new map, is
Of 2016's map.
this is the map that's being presented to you today, which is based on the 2016 map. There was a lot of maps that were presented before the board. This one here that you're looking at was the map that the board approved. But that map is not based on the map that was approved in 2020. It is based on one of the maps that was presented to the board, and that was in 2016, that had that lot sticking out into the visual.
I like this one.
Well,
Why?
It's,
I can't speak to why the court entered into a stipulation telling us to approximate the 2016 map. I wasn't there, but that's what the court ordered. And the municipality may not care if this litigation ever gets settled and if the trees don't get removed. I can only tell you that the judge's order in that case was from 2025. To get the two parties to consent to the map that you're considering today took me and Mr. Lombardi almost a year. So there was a lot of work that took place between the judge's order and today, I can't tell you how many hours we spent sitting there and moving roads and lots around, sending maps to Florida and other places and having meetings and saying, do you agree to this? Do you agree to this? Hearing no, and then having to. Joe will tell you, if any of you ever have heard the name Bill Essex. Bill Essex was probably the preeminent land use lawyer in Suffolk County for 50 years. He approached Joe sometime in 2005 and said to him, I have a really easy job for you. I need you to create a 4-lot subdivision on 44 acres. He was supposed to retire last year and got drew back into this. So I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm telling you that we have tried, and the court tried diligently too. These people have had a very long and difficult history here. And if we go back to another map, first of all, I don't have the authority to do it, and I might have to report to the court. That's all.
Well, I will say this present map where lot 4 is located kind of in the middle, it's off of Peters Pond Road more than the other one, which is nicer. It's less intrusive to people using the public beach down at Peters Pond.
True.
So that map is very similar to the 2016 map. The 2016 map does have lot 4 off of Peters Pond. I can't quite tell how many feet off of Peters Pond, but it's almost in the middle of the property above lot 1 and 2.
Had a bigger easement though next to it than it has.
Right. It may have had a bigger easement. That's true. But as far as the general location, it's similar. It's a little bit, more rectangular than what the current proposal is, but it is, it's less similar than the 2020 approved one.
So the first would be a motion to refer the application to the zoning board for any variances that the special master would need. Yeah, see if the zoning board will give them the variances they need to make this map work.
Look, I don't know if you can do this, but I would relate to them. We sign of good faith would make them. We'd like to have be in compliance with the village code right now. A good faith to do that first before we start using our resources.
I understand
to accelerate this.
I understand. And can I just ask, Brody, do I put in an application to Mr. Woodsmore, or will this board direct me to the ZBA? Because I'm not making building permit applications.
That's correct. This board, Brian, he's not making a building permit, so this board is the one that's directing him to the zoning board.
Correct.
So a building permit, it does not need to be turned down by the building
So I'll just
inspector.
make the application based upon the technical memo.
Correct. A technical memo from us, yes. Yep.
Yes,
It's going to be a 2-part motion. That's going to be the first motion.
right. So I have a motion by Bill to refer this to the zoning board for any needed variances. Is there a second on that? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the second motion is to deem this complete and direct the preparation of a pre-application report. I'll make that motion. Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll anticipate that we'll schedule a public hearing sometime after you get through your zoning board and the pre-application report is done. And we anticipate that those evergreens are gone and that greenhouse is gone.
Understood. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Too bad it's not Christmas time.
Thank you, Mr. Dorf. Thank you. So.
I tried to buy some. My stand.
Okay, Matt, so you will prepare that free application report?
Sure. Yep.
Thank you. And Bill, do you need that in? Anything else? We're good? So Matt, you're free to go. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to see everybody. Thank
And
you.
you as well.
Thank you.
Those trees aren't fixed for the trees.
Okay,
All right, on to the next.
moving along.
Huge, big.
Minutes,
Thank you, Mr. White.
Hi, Adam.
Yeah.
Okay, make a motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Police report, you don't have to do it right now if you want to keep going. We got more. We got the budget. You want to?
Whatever you want to do,
Yeah, I don't.
but I do have a special
Oh, okay.
Event, yeah,
event.
Oh,
but not now. We're not gonna do that yet.
Okay, I'm not doing it yet.
So you're going to do the
updated
police
village
report
website,
next?
is there something? What?
You're gonna do the police report next month, is that what you're saying, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay,
You don't feel slighted.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing to it really, but whatever.
Okay, tentative budget, that's.
did you want me to, you're zipping along there, Mayor. Update on the new village website, just so that you know. We have gotten the design, just got it last week from the Civic Plus. It looks lovely. We have to tweak it. There's still a few things that need to be done. We have to train on it. We're being self-trained, but we're watching the videos and Ab's moving right along on it. So we're pretty confident that I would say in the next 2 weeks, we can go live on this. Unless I'm missing something that we still need to do. I don't think we are. So hopefully, by the end of the month, beginning of next month, we'll have our new website up and running.
I saw it. It's terrific. So great work that you wrote and everybody did it now.
We're very pleased with the way we now.
We're able to not good.
I don't know if I can get it by then because but we'll shoot for the
tax
next 2 weeks. So that's the update.
So we're on to the budget.
We are. You want to present? Would you like
No,
me
you can
to?
do it.
Oh, jeez.
I'm lazy.
Oh, shoot, I forgot it.
Here,
That's not the budget.
we find.
Hold that thought.
Yep.
Just have to pull my file. And I did not put it in your packets, but I'll send it to you by email.
I have the tour of the Hamptons is the next thing.
Yeah, he doesn't want me to do that.
No, it's- Think about it. Well, we can do that. We can do it.
Okay, so it was out of,
I've done it many times, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was the police report we want.
They're gonna set up a refreshment stand across from Saks store and put them out of business?
You're not going by section.
Okay, good. There's too much traffic there anyway.
He wants me to do the tour now.
Okay, do the tour.
Okay, so what's that on? I can find it. No, it's not. Here we go. Okay. So the new special event is the tour of the Hamptons. Massapequa Park Bike Club is putting it on Sunday, September 27th to 26th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. They will not have any tents. There'll be about 740 people involved, 650 to attend, 90 to put the production on. The bike tour has rest stops that consist of distribution of energy food and porta potties at Southampton High School, Bridgehampton Bank, next to Cinderella's, and Amagansett Firehouse. No Valley Company, no eatery people, no alcohol, no security. Let's see, Bridgehampton Bank food is individual packet energy food and water purchased by them. Southampton Town Highway or police. Then we'll have directional signs only at the intersections. They're 24 by 24 to indicate the road change.
So they're not gonna paint?
No.
Good, great.
And then the club donations go 1,000 to the Southampton Fresh Air Home, 700 to the retreat, 400 to Bridgehampton Museum, 200 Maureen's Haven, 250, I guess that's New York Bike Club, NYBC, yes. and 700 to the Bridgehampton Child Care.
That's great.
Now there's quickly, there's 4 races actually. 26 miles and 52 miles will go down Bridge Lane, Sag Main, Cemetery Lane, Gibson, Daniels, Town Line, Hedges, Sag Main, Sagaponic Road. Those are the 2 short ones, 26 and 52 miles. The 70 mile and the 103 mile ends at Town Line Road because then they go to Wainscott and up to Montclair. The map is in the back.
No, the map is not in there.
The map is not in the back.
The map they sent was not very clear.
Okay,
It's
any-
easier to follow it by the written description.
Yeah. Any questions?
We say here that there's additional services, Southampton Police Department, no. They'll be notified though.
Yeah, because it starts in Southampton, so they get their own application up there. And we notify them as well with
Our guy will know that there's
Yes,
a bunch of bikers coming through.
Yep.
So I make a motion that we pass this special event.
I'll second it.
Any questions?
No, I think they've done this ever since I've been living here, right? This has been going on forever. It'd be nice maybe, I don't know who handles the donations, but is it the lady there, right, or who signed it?
Cheryl Neubauer.
Yeah, I wonder if we can reach out to her, maybe make sure we have the Sagaponic Land Foundation.
Yes. I mean, it's not a matter of ask. If that's what you're requiring, I'll let them know.
It's not a requirement, it's an ask.
Suggestion.
Or
A very strong
Sagaponic Land.
suggestion.
Okay. With that addition, all in favor?
Okay, sign here.
Okay.
We should
Okay.
make it up total.
Budget? Yeah, total.
We can make it a total.
Okay, my apologies. I did not print out the budget for you, but I sent it all to you via email and I have it up on the screen. So the assessment for the village has increased a tad. Last year it was 6,401,935,317. This year it's 6,402,705,860. The budget has increased. Let me get rid of this page here. By $120,000. Last year the budget was $1,393,548. It is being proposed at $1,514,343 with a tax rate of 0.0677 per thousand of assessed valuation, where last year it was 0.0650. That would be we're looking to bring in revenues from real property of $433,729, and the rest of the revenue from various sources for $1,086,140. There is an increase in the salaries. The salary schedule is on the last page of the budget. And that's it in a summary. Is there any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So the increase in our budget,
Mm-hmm.
and a big part of our revenue has been building permits and outside stuff. How do we see that projection? I know it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
How do we
So-
see that for this year?
So what you can see on the proposed budget is what we budgeted last year, what we actually took in for last year. I'm sorry, but what we budgeted, meaning the 25-26, the current year that we are in, what we've taken in to date, which is March 5th. Those are the monies that we took in to date, and then the projection out. So what I do is I kind of take start with a zero budget, and I base it on the years, the previous years. So this year, we budgeted 335,240. To date, as of March 5th, we took in 499,820. I'm projecting out that we will probably take in about 525,000. And so
That's based on what we think is happening, or is it a guesstimate, or what do you?
No, it's based on those applications that are in the hopper,
Right.
you know, the applications that we have in, what is still has to be,
Applied for?
well, not applied for it. I don't predict
You
that
don't
somebody's
know that.
gonna do it, but the ones that have already applied that we haven't taken in the full building permit.
Okay, so there is a backlog.
account for.
Okay, good.
Yes, so that's
That's a big number of our budget, obviously.
Yeah, and so my conservative budget is 375,000.
Okay.
So I don't know what's gonna happen. It's all a guess, but that's how I do it.
I have a
That's
question.
very educated.
Educated guess.
I have a
analysis.
question.
But that's how I do it. I do it on the past budgets and where we're at right now, yes.
We get a lot of money from fill permits. And what is fill?
Fill-
Exactly, it's coming in.
Right, it's if you're bringing in or coming out a certain amount of soil over 600 cubic yards.
But it's also going out?
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's at $10 a cubic yard. That number is included in the building permit fees.
Yes.
So that's in that one there.
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a nice question.
Yeah.
So our salary increases that we're projecting here is in line with other
Yes.
communities?
I don't know all of their percentages. Some of them give us them and some of us don't. Some of them don't. Some don't know right now, and some are based on union contracts and scales, the steps. So cost of living could be different, you know.
Okay. Just want to make sure that we definitely are,
Giving you enough, yep.
I mean, our.
Thank you, Kerry.
Yeah, I actually want to make sure that we're not, that we're
Those salaries
comparable to the other
that you see up there,
villages and towns,
is, I think, appropriate for the positions out here in this day and age. And the staff thanks you for recognizing that.
We thank you. Guess I'm the only one.
Thank you.
Any other questions on revenues or expenditures?
Thank you. Thank you from on high.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
So our increase is based on all those projections you just said, correct, to the dollar amounts we're
Right,
balanced
so
on that basis?
you go through each line, obviously the personnel is a big jump in the
Those are legal fees.
expenditures.
Are legal fees really high?
Down. We're
I
a
actually-
source of savings, actually. Ironically, believe it or not, the budget is being balanced on the back of the lawyer.
That we put a lot of money in there last year. We never know when somebody's gonna sue us, Brian. And the zoning board was a biggie, and that one's kind of, it's not gone yet, but it's not as expensive as it
We
used
are
to.
officially managing the legal budget, trustee McMillan.
There we go, Brian.
Is that why we don't get the pads for our mouse pads?
I got one.
I know you do. It's kind of obvious.
Correct. That might be my retirement.
So I'm just looking to see, I mean, you if you went through it, there's some ups and some downs, and like I said, that's how I based the budget on, see what we spent in the previous years, where we are to date,
I
any
think this
projections
is very
out.
conservative.
Thank you, Mark.
I would, I
You say
think
what's
it's,
conservative?
no, I think what the budget itself is very, and, she's.
So the-
I'd like to put a plug in for what David said, that anybody who wants to use our road should pay. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
That was
We'll put up
mine.
a toll, Elizabeth.
I tried to get a toll on that bridge when we first built.
Kind of like a lemonade stand, but put money here.
So if there are no other questions, and you'll also see in there, we added the $10,000 for the cultural for the Bridgehampton Museum. So that's in there as well.
Okay, do we have the cemetery in there? We don't-
That's what I'm talking about, that's in
what it's
there,
Okay.
yes, that's in there.
They didn't give us a
That's what it
cemetery.
is.
Can't get the dead people?
Yeah. Raise the dead.
I also increased, oh no, sorry, never mind. We actually did decrease the highway capital reserve, because we have
No more
2
roads.
million.
No, we got a lot of money.
We have a lot of money in the capital reserve, but we have sufficient money.
Sufficient.
And you'll also see that also went up because this year, unlike last year, I budgeted on the revenue side to bring that CHIPS money in, but I never budgeted on the expense side. And so now it's going to be budgeted on the expense side.
Good.
So that's why you'll see that there. That increase there.
Can we set a public hearing?
So that would be your next step,
Okay.
yes.
I'll make a motion to set a public hearing on the budget for April 15th, 3 p.m. Village Hall.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. We have stuck in here a few aerial photographs and a Google map of things that have been done on preserved land, so-called preserved land. If you catch that, it's under discussion items. There you go. And if you think that's what we want to see our farmland used for, one of them was part of the Stehecki farm, and I think Walter Stehecki started a landscape business and took an ag reserve. And I was actually at the public hearing for that barn to be put up, and the neighbors were having a fit. But it was perfectly legal because tree farming is farming under the state law. And so actually a lot of the so-called ag reserved areas and subdivisions, say the 65% that's preserved or is preserved under the town, can be converted. And you might see a barn like that and that type of heavy equipment, the truck traffic and all that show up on Parsonage Lane or Hedges Lane or Daniels Lane, anywhere there's an agricultural reserve. The first photo is on the north end of Deerfield Road. And there's a lot more going on than just that.
Is this this is the one you're talking about right now, right, Bill? The one I have up on the screen?
That was the Hampton Yards on Lumber Lane.
Oh,
That's terrific.
Okay, which one are we talking about?
that one, this one right here.
Okay.
If you've been looking at the Southampton Press, there's been a number of articles about a horse farm just north of that on Lumber Lane, where they want to put up for their housing for their agricultural workers. I think there's 2,200 square foot houses for
1,000.
No, 2,200. The houses.
Yeah.
Houses for the workers, and a 21,000 square foot riding arena, and a 19,000 square foot barn, and a 14,000 square foot.
Is that comfort?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's all, well, that's, I think, may not get approved. They're going to probably keep getting it small enough so they can win a lawsuit against the town. But that's why we need to get those rights brought up the front, because somebody's going to do it here. And just like back in the 90s, when Leonard put up his house, people said, well, how can that be? Well, you have a right to put it up until the town changed the code to restrict it.
Yeah.
But we can't take away somebody's property rights by simply changing the code. The state allows us to do certain things, and that's something we can't do. We can't define agriculture. The state does it, and we have to abide by their definition. If they say you can grow trees and have a barn to run your landscaping business to sell the trees, then that's legal. Anyway, that's really what we're getting at with the Sagaponic Land Fund. And the hope is that somehow we get cooperative landowners who will sell rights or give the rights for a tax benefit to the Chronic Land Trust. Or when there's a subdivision, maybe we can get the land trust to buy the rights off of it for a house and for trees, a tree farm, and for a horse farm. So it remains in the farm crop, the field crops of vegetables, which provide food for the community. We have local farm stands, as you well know. And it's a great bucolic look. I know riding horses is a great thing, but when you get housing and barns and more barns, after a while, you lose the view, and the level of economic activity impinges neighboring properties. Anyway, that's kind of why we printed that up and threw it in here, to just make people aware that that type of thing can happen. What you see now may change if you don't do something about it. And hopefully over time we can.
So our new composting restriction helps us somewhere in the composting side of this. A little bit, but if you take a look at this martyrs, this is a horrific thing to happen.
Yeah.
This is off-site on Deerfield?
Yes. Yep.
If it wasn't for our composting law,
they could do this.
You could say coming to a field near you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great. So then we still got to work on some of these other areas.
So
Brian, what is the minutia? How minutia can you? I don't know if that's a word, but can you get as far as rights itself? So,
It's a matter of negotiation. You know, it depends on if you could really get it down to really finite points.
You
could.
So you could.
Yeah.
So, and that finite point could then have a knock-on effect of not being able to do certain things off the back of that. So you can.
Well, from the town down, it's all a matter of negotiation. And if the town leaves it open to say essentially farming or something that's defined by agricultural and markets law, that's a wide universe. That's what I think the mayor and the Sagaponic Land Trust points are, to try to narrow these down to really appropriate traditional uses.
Yeah. Look, the Chronic Land Trust has a lot of property that has a lot of issues. A lot of, the easements on them, which brought to my attention, and John has, there's a big problem with those loopholes. Which we need, if we have any sway on the Goldman property, we need to make sure we have that in there.
Well, you need a willing seller. We can't do it through our legislative process, through the development process.
No, but there's other ways we can inflict our.
Won't live long.
Oh, we have the opportunity.
Yes.
Well, looks like we're gonna have the village engineer look at the roads, do a review again of the roads, update it. I don't know if you notice in some areas, say the south end of Main Street and Bridge Lane, there's quite a bit of cracking going down the road. You just get them to look at it and see if we need to, before the next winter, maybe tar them in or whatever they do, to seal them. Well, that would be worthwhile. I know we've done it in the past. And those roads are starting to show some signs of that type of activity. So that he's going to take a look at it and give us feedback.
These Town Line Road, the other side.
That was a horrible repair job there that shows that they didn't put the same thing we did, because that whole road's breaking up already.
Yeah.
From the winter.
Who's responsible for the where the snow plows have tore up turf and stuff?
Well, the turf is, they kind of just stamp it back down with the curbing. The town will put that back, and I just sent over for Scotland and Glenwood. So they'll put that on their to-do list. We had one damage to one of the drainages on Daniels Lane, so Jim has sent that off to them over by your house.
Right.
Just east of you, on the south side.
The highway department does that?
Right, so they'll put that back on. They don't do mailboxes. Some of the tree branches that they've removed those. and a couple of trees that came down, but as far as doing the dirt on the side of the road, I don't think they really go back and rake that back
Yeah, I'm
over.
talking more about the big rolls of turf that when they brought the bulldozer, the payloaders down there, they.
I'm not sure. I'll have to ask them if they go and lay that back down.
Yeah.
Or usually the
I mean,
landscape.
it's on the village property, so I would think that they maybe, at the very least, maybe think about reseeding some of the stuff or whatever.
I could be pushing it.
Yeah.
I'll ask them.
Can you ask them?
I will. We are, and speaking of reseeding, Town Line Road is getting reseeded because the seed didn't take.
Right.
From last year when we had the road redone, and there was another spot, there was an old Bible store on Sag Main Street. The Suffolk County Water Authority put their lines in over there. So,
Well, actually, right across the house next to Lockline, between Lockline and Albright, I forget the number. Apparently one of the trucks came to the other side of the road and rutted it. And what they did is they dumped a pile of sand, and it ain't never gonna grow grass.
on the west side? Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I think that's the area that Jim was talking about because that's where they put the Suffolk County Water.
Well, there's that too, but,
All right,
but this was rutted, and then I saw a pile of sand and a guy shoveled it out, and
Great.
not gonna grow grass.
And then over in that area there, I'm waiting for Jim to give me a schedule for the installation of the parking design over there.
Right.
And
At the store?
At the store, yeah. I don't have it yet, but
Right, and then that will dictate the timing then, right? Okay.
yeah. So he's working on
I
that.
complained about a puddle, just on Sagaponic Road.
At the school.
Yeah, at the school, kind of where the playground is.
Slow drainage.
Well, it flows around the corner, and then where the parking area kind of stops and the grass juts out, it puddles. And Jim's gonna take a look and to see if there's some kind of drainage that could go in there.
So
I mean, naturally in the winter, when that freezes, it becomes a hazard. I know there's a lot of cars there at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did speak to him. He said with Rhodey, and he said he could fix that fairly easy.
Right, so then he'll look at it, give a proposal for the installation of drainage there, if that's what you would like him to do.
Yeah.
Is then I'll bring it to you, when he gets it to me. Okay?
Because the school would call about that all the time, didn't
Yes.
they? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, got it.
Pay bills.
Hmm?
We're gonna pay bills.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe in 5 minutes.
At the request of Mark, we're gonna. I'm asking us to move along. Let's see, I'll make a motion to expend from the general fund an amount of $78,000, $964.87.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to expend from the tree fund the amount of $625.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to expend from the planning trust and agency fund $2,598.75.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I make a motion to expend from the capital highway fund the amount of $348.50.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Our next monthly meeting is April 15th at 3 o'clock.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah. You have no public? Any public ones?
Elizabeth's still on.
The budget meeting, that's at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
No public comment, but hello from Spain.
Oh, okay.
What did you say about, it's not still. What? Public hearing.
The next meeting?
Right, the April 15th. Yeah.
Yeah.
You turn your lights out before you left for Spain?
My lights don't work. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, Dinah has her concert tour, so we're coming back on Friday. But
Turn your video. Have a safe trip.
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thanks, you guys, for hearing us out.
Thank you and your husband for the input. I think it's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much.
It's a good debate. Yeah.
It is. It is. All good notes. Thanks.
Yeah, I think we'll get to a better space.
But thank you.
Bill, I didn't turn the light on your side.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That gentleman's aye.
Thank you. So you're looking to, or you already told me that.
Oh, adjourned.
Will she turn it off? Oh, she hasn't turned it off.
No, it's coming.